In episode 5 of Windbreaker, the Bofurang crazies were meeting up with the Shishitran hoodlums to throw down. The crazy kid starts running Naruto style and tells the others to follow him. They were passing through a sketchy alley in the hood where not even the devil would go. Sakura says there are only bars around. It's because they're actually just a bunch of blonde alcoholic losers. He was almost crapping his pants out of fear. And speaking of him, Sakura asks what the hell he's doing there, since he's not even going to fight and will only get in the way. But the collapsed-haired dude says he has an obligation to be with him because he was also involved at that time. So he asks them to at least let him watch the fight, because he wants to learn to become a badass fighter. The eye patch dude says Sakura blushes way too easily, so he tells him to shut up. Spiky-haired Hiragui, looking like he got shocked, tells them to shut up and says they could at least feel a little nervous, since they're entering the lion's den. Yumimiya tells him to chill, because he's too tense, and the collapsed-haired dude was talking weird, wanting to give Sakura a massage, almost got punched in the mouth right away. So after a lot of walking, they finally arrived at the crazy's base. That's when the crap hits the fan. This base was an abandoned cinema, called Orion. When they entered the room, there were 500,000 crazies waiting for them. I'd never seen so many delinquents gathered in one place, and they told them to start the fight already, because they couldn't wait any longer. The collapsed-haired dude was already begging for his life and wondering if he would make it back home alive. But the deal was to man up and lift that head. Tomiyama gets on stage and tells everyone to get excited because the party's about to start and the Bofurang crazies can't believe they turned this into a festival. Yumimiya asks if they're ready and says things got a little out of control, since it was only supposed to be a fight between him and the demon on the other side. He says the only result that matters is his fight, so they don't need to worry if they lose their fights. But Sakura didn't like that very much. He says he doesn't care if it doesn't depend on his fight. He came here to throw down. So the boss said they can really trust him. So they're about to start the fights, but the vice leader says they can't start with the captains. So this dude with a pissed off face asks to go first to beat up the big guy because his look is pissing him off too much. So it looks like Sugawashita is gonna be the first one up. Sakura says he still hasn't sorted things out with him, but tells him to win the fight because he doesn't want to battle against someone who asks for such lame guys. Then the two of them step into the ring and the ruckus begins. The collapsed-haired dude already starts checking his Pokédex to see who the big guy was gonna fight. His name was Yukinari Arima, one of the most powerful in the clan. This dude once broke a guy's ribs with a single punch. But Hayato says Sugawashita has done the same thing, so there's nothing to worry about. But the boss says he'd feel sorry if he treated the two of them equally. The dude with the pissed off face says his look really is irritating, so he pulls a dirty trick and asks what happened to Yumimiya. The big guy automatically looks to the side and takes a punch to the face to wake up. The confident dude with the pissed off face tells him to never look away in the middle of a fight, but the collapsed-haired dude just grabs his arm, starts squeezing, and gives him a deadly look with bloodlust, saying that to him, he's Mr. Yumimiya. Then he grabs the guy's head and smashes it into the ground. Everyone's impressed, but Sakura says that guy was really weak. The fight ended with a single blow and the crazies on the other side started trembling in fear. Tomiyama starts applauding, saying he's really tough, already wanting to fight him too. The collapsed-haired dude is shocked that instead of worrying about the opponent's strength, he started applauding. These guys are sinister. Yumimiya says he was amazing as always and Hiragui asks if his face isn't hurting. Everyone was very impressed, but Sakura said that was normal since he's fought him once before. Then everyone starts teasing him, saying he admits that the big guy is strong, but he says it has nothing to do with that, he just said he's really tough. Tomiyama asks Four Eyes how he'd defeat the big guy and got a serious cold shoulder, but Yumimiya was already starting to worry. Then they want to move on to the next fight and Tomiyama tells two henchmen to take out the trash. My buddy, that guy's life is over. The crew themselves started teasing him, saying he always acted like he was all that, and now he's all smashed on the ground and they started kicking his knocked out face. Sakura says their little chat is very annoying and tells them to stop this madness of absolute power frenzy, because he feels embarrassed just looking at this bunch of weaklings. But Hayato says it's no use because these guys only understand when they're beaten up, so an extra grabs him by the shirt collar and asks why he doesn't come make him understand then. But Tomiyama says that guy's opponent isn't him and tells him to stay away, so the dude backed off. Then the next fight is about to begin and Sakura already wants to go for it, but Hayato tells him to stop being an idiot because it's his turn now. The dude didn't understand, it wasn't anything. Hiragui says he's also heard a lot about him, but doesn't know much, since he came from a different school. Even the boss says he didn't know anything about him, but later found out he's a very kind guy. The guy with the ponytail was biting his nails out of rage, and Hayato asks if he got mad because of his buddy. He says the two of them have always been together and that guy was like a brother to him, but the rest says he only knows how to complain when they're the victims and seems like a bunch of kids who can't take a hit. And Sakura says that's never the face of a kind person. The weirdo rushes at Hayato, who pulls off a Beyblade move and sends the guy flying. Everyone's like, whoa. He says tantrums are only cute when a kid's throwing them, and asks if he wants him to teach him to become an adult. The kid gets mad and says these moves are too weird, so he's gonna hit even faster so he can't defend. He rushes at Hayato but gets tripped and falls on the ground like crap. The dude says someone should have filmed that to send to the America's Funniest Home Videos show. But hold on, the humiliation isn't over yet. He tries to grab his leg but gets thrown away again. The town asked what he thinks it takes to become an adult, and at this point, the dude was already falling by himself. His gang buddies started to flip out and throw trash at the kid, telling him to start fighting for real, but the kid says they're just complaining because they don't know how strong this guy is. Any move he tries is useless. Yumimiya starts laughing, saying he's not just a kind guy, and Sakura says there's nothing gentle about this guy, he just has a rotten personality. Since he doesn't finish off his opponent, he just wants to keep humiliating him in his little show, so he'll force the opponent to give up, showing he's 1,000 times stronger without throwing a single punch. The boss says it's like he's trying to impress someone, so Sakura asks how he makes this guy want to fight seriously with him. The guy with the ponytail was getting beaten up so much that Tamiyama even fell asleep, but Togami was watching everything with a deadly glare. Then he remembers what's going to happen to him if he keeps getting beaten up, so he decides to go all out but gets a kick right in the face, and Hayato says he knows what he's thinking. He says there's an image coming into his head of what it would be like if he were in the place of that guy who got beat up, and he kept poking his head, laughing at him for being weak. So that was the answer to becoming an adult. You had to know how to imagine the consequences. Now the next step was to make that imagination become reality, so he prepares to make the first move of the fight, and the kid is already in shock. But before he could do anything, Togami asks Hayato to stop, and even the boss wakes up. After that, he told the ponytail guy not to embarrass them even more. Actually, he had made a mistake. It wasn't a shame for them anymore because they're not even comrades there anymore. It's like this: my son, you lose, you're out and you're sent to the abyss. Hayato still hasn't tired of humiliating a kid and says that becoming an adult means getting involved with people's feelings, and tells him to be happy because he at least climbed a step in life after this. I just don't know if he'll be able to get out of there alive. And the episode ends. Man, that was the recap of episode 5 of Windbreaker. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel so we can hit 100k subscribers by the end of the year. Only 999k more to go. I really believe it. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I'm out. Until later.